Hello, and welcome to the Master Trams YouTube channel, where today we are back on the Zest Husky Plays map, which he last played on YouTube over a decade ago. So I have recently downloaded this map, and we are playing through it and updating the network with all the updates that have happened over the last 10 years, and also expanding in places, which is what we are going to be doing later on today. Last episode was focused around updating rather than expanding, as we were redoing the throats and station design of the stations along this section of track here, from what I am going to call New Slaston Junction through to Pladworth. And we even built this new freight yard called the Pladworth Industrial Park. Now, since recording that episode over a week ago, I've had a bit of a brainwave. The result of that brainwave is that we can get rid of this reversing siding here, because it isn't necessary. Okay, not allowed to paused. But yeah, because there is another way, and if I open up the plan list here, I can show you. Now these two in particular are important to this, because if we go up to Flunfingfield, my plan is to have, right, I can pause it again now. My plan is to have a tunnel underneath the station and then connecting up to these two lines here. This line being currently an express line, but with the construction of the southern main line that I am doing currently, it will be made redundant. So I am going to repurpose it as a freight line. Of course, you will also have seen this other line, because, well, my plan for this tunnel, it doesn't cover trains coming from north of Renfingbourne. So I have devised the Renfingbourne Freight Bypass, which has 3 entry-exit points. The first being here at Printingworth, the second being up here at Chaffing Hill, and the third being down at New Slaston. It's a concept very similar to what happens on the East Coast Main Line, where freight is regularly routed via Gainsborough and Lincoln instead of going down the actual East Coast Main Line. So yeah, the idea of this is to use what are really some very quiet lines as busy freight lines. And as you can see, it continues through to New Slaston and also connects onto what will become the freight line. So therefore we can also move these depots. Again, we need to unpause. And we need to go to electrified railway. Okay. Now, one thing we didn't get to do last time was the restricted signalling around this area, but I am going to do that now instead. However, something else I've learned from playtesting is that actually freight platforms need to be 7 tiles long. So we are going to very quickly make some changes. So if we go for industrial tiles, where? Right there. So we can replace these here, and then buffers. So that is those 4 platforms done, and then these are even easier, because we can just extend it. But we can also have a fun piece here. Yeah, fair. So yeah, that is the new Plattworth Industrial Park with platforms that are 7 tiles long. So now we need to get into the world of restricted signalling. We can switch this off. So, first step, I want to move this signal here, because when I was playtesting after recording the last episode, Plattworth did jam when a particularly long train got stuck at that signal. So we've moved it a bit further along. But now we need to actually look at how we are going to move trains around and what speed they're going to move at. So for this, I am first going to go into my train groups and create 3 new trains, or 3 new groups. The first of these groups is going to be called Express, and you can see it there. The second of these groups is going to be called Passenger, and the third of these groups is going to be called Freight, because those are the 3 categories of trains that we are going to be using on this network. The reason I wanted to create those 3 groups is that I can click on Deny, then if train group is Express, I can do Reserve Through, but I can also do Deny. Allow. So this means that only trains in the Express category, in the Express group, will be able to use these central platforms. And so now, we just need to do the same. We'll go for copy instead. And then do something similar over a prefing hill, where I'm not quite sure. So yeah, so if train has diesel engine, then if next order is Silverstone Bay, or if next order, I am pretty certain that no express train will ever terminate at Preffing Hill, so I feel reasonably confident replacing this with if train group is express. Oh, and deny there. And so reserve through deny. But again, if train group is express, then deny, allow, and reserve through. So yeah, it will jam for a while. Well, hopefully it won't jam, but it might back up for a while. But this will ultimately be beneficial for these two cities to have these dedicated express platforms, and then the others can all be used for other trains, regional trains. So now we need to look at speed limits. So what I have decided is, because of the frequency of stops on the western portion of this main line, Sarnway to Flunfingfield will have a maximum speed limit of 100 miles per hour, because it's not really worth going faster when you're just going to be stopping again very soon. However, then Flunfingfield onwards to Little Draham will have a maximum speed limit of 125 miles per hour, which is the fastest a diesel train can go in this game. There is a question about Forhedenworth to Little Draham, but we don't need to broach that now. So, as for how to do this, it is relatively simple. And we will redo this throat at a later date. But it is speed restriction, 50 miles per hour. So this is for the station, by the way. And same here, speed restriction, 50 miles per hour. And then here, it will just be unlimited. And likewise, so hold on, if we just get rid of this signal there. Likewise, unlimited. So now, this side of the station, we're going to again go for 50. And yes, as expected, it is clogged. Though I am not quite back. It's because it is clogged at the Preffing Hill end. That instead of deny, we will replace that with a penalty. We will put a penalty here too. Okay, that doesn't seem to have fixed it. Yeah, we just need to free up a platform. There we go. Oh, fantastic. Right, I need to remember which signals I've placed. No. We'll just leave it. Though we can probably do something like... Yeah, because you... So if we then find... Okay, so you're the Sutway service. So we can just turn you around. Okay, now we're moving on. So that is set at 50 miles per hour. This will be set at 100 miles. No. This will be set at 100 miles per hour. And then same here. Speed restriction 50. And speed restriction 100. And then here, speed restriction 50. And here it will be unlimited. So now we have got a stretch of main line, which has that on now. Yeah, no, that's not worth it. So now we need to focus on the freight yard, on the industrial park. And for this, I'm going to say here, if your current order is a freight yard, is an industrial park, you will have a speed restriction of 50. And then here this signal, we'll just say 100 again. Now here we are going to go with an old classic of mine, which is using the entry direction trick. So if entry direction is back, else if entry direction is front, and then speed restriction 25, speed restriction 50, and then we can just copy that across, or rather share it across. So now that that is done, we now need to move on to the actual project for today, which would have been Sarnway, specifically the Sarnway to Cathatton or New Slaston bit. But in playtesting, I've noticed that Sarnway Station here clogs very easily, and I'm still trying to figure out how to solve that. So therefore we can't do that today, otherwise it would just break. So instead, we are going to go over to Grutfield and do the first bit of expansion, as I mentioned right at the beginning. Because what I did, as I promised in the last video, was I did a bit of detailed design for the main line, which starts in Sarnway, goes up through Chimbridge Junction in Cathatton, through Brentburg, New Slaston from the north, through to the south, and here we meet the queue, through Preffing Hill and Pladworth, and into Flunfinfield. It then uses the Plennington line out of Flunfinfield, and then goes via Fort Brondinghall. Now interestingly, Zest Husky sends most of his westbound expresses via Pronley Market down here. But since Fort Brondinghall is the bigger city, I'm going to stick with my decision. So then it continues through Nonhill and then out to Grutfield. Now here we continue west and we reach what I am going to be calling Fledinghall Junction. And you can see here that the main line, the planned main line, diverges from the existing line. So this existing line continues on down to Tedtown and Overted, whereas my main line is going to continue through Runberg to Lonningville. And so we need to create this short bit of track from Fledinghall Junction to Lonningville. But while doing so, we are also going to rebuild Mudinghatton Bridge and Fledinghall Mill stations. We also need to extend the platforms at Grutfield. So therefore, it feels fitting that we should now go into a time lapse. Right, now for the important bit. We need to build the 2 junctions first at either end, and then try and connect them up. Now this junction here is going to be the more illogical of the 2, because of this sugar refinery and fruit plantation. But also, because the new line is going to be the main line, I want the existing line to diverge from it, rather than the other way around. So you'll understand what I mean once I've built it, but it does make rebuilding this line rather complex. Basically it means that the current line has to do the grade separation, whereas the new line is just going to be on the flat. So as part of that, we are going to start by plotting where the new line is going to go. And my current theory is to take it under, so like this, and then it can go under, oh, right, like this, nope, like this, there we go. So actually it's not horrible. So it is a bit of a long way round, but not that much. And so as you can see, it is the old line that is doing the avoiding, that is changing levels, as this train proves here very nicely. So now I want to, so 4. And yep, there's a 7 long gap. So now we can get rid of these. So then the exit signal will be here and here. Oh, right. Right, okay, that'll do. Wait, hold on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we want to avoid this other fruit plantation and just keep going in that direction. And we can go for the girder steel bridge. So yeah, we want a station at Frontingwell Ridge and a station at Runberg City, and then we'll need to do something about Loningville, which is an electrified station, I will add, as evidenced by the APTs here. So if we go there, do that, then we can try and get it sort of into the town centre, but also not destroying that many houses. That is always the target, it always was when Zest Husky played this map. So yeah, that is something I'm going to stick to. We've also just got to avoid this builder's yard, which will involve a bit of terraforming there. Now the thing to notice about Runberg is that there is a hotel here, which is something I want to serve as part of a station. How I will do that I'm not quite sure, so therefore I am just going to build a passenger station right now. Besides, I'm not even sure what the supply chain is for the hotel. We are going to get rid of everything in this region. Expand this, there you go. So then you can still build some houses. And there we go. So railway through here. And tunnel. We can demolish that. So then that leaves us a... Yeah, okay. We'll have the signals here and here. Which creates a... Okay. Yeah, that'll do. Another thing to note, while we're in Runberg, is that I have been doing a bit of planning as for what freight trains I would like to run on this main line. One of those involves this plastic plant here. So therefore we need to build a junction here that will allow us to serve that plastic plant. And that was a wrong decision. So there you go. So we are going to go for something a little bit like this. And then build our freight station here. That also means that I can upgrade this to a path signal. And here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here. And then a multi-directional path signal there, bi-directional. Now, the way I approached Lonningville's southern station throat was to have 2 inlines and 1 outline, and you'll see what I mean very soon. So we'll just do this here, remove those, and we will have 1 inline. But then we've got to remove this conflict here. My plan is to demolish this here, build a bridge. So then if we go to electrified track, we can have a tunnel here, a signal there, and re-designate this to be for the new main line. And this, I think, works really well and also looks quite nice. I do quite like it, especially how the APTs dive under. It just looks nice. We now need to take a look at this throat because, I mean, it's alright, but it's not as good as I think it could be. For that we need to switch back to electrified railway. We may have to move these signals. Yes, we will have to move these signals. But that will be the new southern throat. And also notice that, quite realistically, there are no points or switches underneath the bridge. So then you can just electrify that, and yeah, that will work absolutely fine. At the northern end, we come across a bit of a challenge, and that is these sidings. They are a bit in the way. However, that is quite easily solved, as we can just try and move them over by 1. Actually, no, it's even easier. You just have to remove this one once this train has got out of the way. So we do then need to expand this because this is going to become a pretty key depot on the southern main line. I mean, I imagine it will be one of 4 depots that house express trains. 1 at Little Draham, 1 at Lonningville, 1 at Fluntingfield, and then 1 at Sarnway. So while it doesn't need to be a big depot, it does need to have a couple of sidings that can fit express trains, because they will want to stop here for the night occasionally. Yeah, the big depots will be at Sarnway and Little Draham. So anyway, now we need to try and rebuild this throat. So we will rebuild the main lines and then look at the depot with what space we have left. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove these outer lines. However, this also then leads to the problem of, well actually no, it's not a problem, but we do need to just realign. So that will do as a stopgap. But then, if we go to diesel railway, we can then also see what sort of space we'll have for the depot. Right, now back to electrified railway. So now we need to take a look at how the depot will be accessed. I like the idea of the depot being here. And yeah, so then we've got all these, but if we move order to another depot, move order to another depot, that usually works. Oh well, relatively easily solved. Just do that. So now we can get rid of this depot and these tracks here. And we need to begin looking at where the sidings are going to go. Immediately, I'm thinking that for two, because I think it is going to be two, express sidings are going to be down here, hidden down this way. Then we're going to want maybe 3 5-tile long sidings. Actually, which can come out of here. Right, okay, no, so then 6, 7. Because then we can fit another 5-tile siding there, and so then the rest just need to be a bunch of 3-tile sidings. Actually, if we got rid of this, because then you can have 3 tiles here and here. See, these don't need to be 5. In fact, these don't even need to be here. Let's just build the sidings we have already planned. Platforms, there you go. Our way, of course. Of course. Maximum station spread. Right, I think I can get rid of this now. It does now make me curious though. Oh, yeah, we need to get rid of that. So, is that enough? No. What is a current maximum? 12. Right, we'll increase it to 20. Because I don't see any reason why I'd ever build an actual station to use that. But for depots, it will be useful. So, yeah, there's 4 more. The thing is, those wouldn't make for a very easy connection. Oh no, get rid of those. can always expand later if we need to. So now we can focus on Britifying this. And I think that looks quite good. Now the question is, how do you connect it into the main station? I would be fairly happy to do something like this. Getting rid of these. Then for these sidings up here, it would just be like that. So they'd still be able to access 3 platforms. But now, like I did at Preffing Hill and Platworth, we are going to implement a speed limit. Here's again going to be 50 miles per hour. Here, the speed restriction will be 125. You are going to be unlimited. So then we will do this one as the entry direction. So from back, else if entry direction is front. So in speed restriction, we'll go 25 and 50. So now we just need to go and get every single other signal. Yeah, and so that is the sidings done. Honestly, I'm much happier with these than the ones I created during playtesting. Those were over this way and involved horrible bits of terraforming. So anyway, now we need to signal this bit. So first off, we're going to get rid of that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In fact, you know what? We will do the signalling as a time lapse because, yeah, it's not very riveting, is it? So, the signalling is now done. The line speed limit is 125 miles per hour. And yeah, that is it for this week's episode. Because yeah, I am going to try and make these videos weekly. So Saturday, midday, you should get a new one of these videos. And I enjoyed making last week's, I've enjoyed making this one. So I should see you again next week as well. But in the meantime, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Master Trams is down below. While you're there, like the video. So why not leave a comment? I would appreciate any feedback you have about this series, about my recording, about whatever. And share this video with your friends. But until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.